I always estimate around 200,000 to move back, and people balk at that. They're just like, I don't need that.
In this episode, we break down what moving back to Australia actually costs, the tax surprises, the cash flow gaps, and what most expats don't plan for until it's too late.
Singapore has one last bite of the cherry, any unvested RSUs. So even though you may not be able to vest them, you get to pay tax on them, which can be a bit of a shock for some people. You announce that you're going, your employer then withholds 2 months of your pay.
Yes, sometimes 3.
We all headed down to Services Australia, which is the new branded term for Centrelink. Headed down there, walked in the door, greeted with hostile, cranky staff. I was like, oh yes, nothing's changed here.
If you're an Australian expat thinking about moving back and want to know what to plan for before it's too late, this conversation is for you. Welcome to the Aussie Expat podcast. Very excited because I have both of my two amigos back with me for this one.
Yes.
Both Tristan and Mr. Jamie. So
Forward to it.
our first group recording for the year.
Yeah.
It's exciting. Yep. And more exciting because we get to pick your brain, Mr. Tristan.
Yes.
So for those of you that are not aware, Tristan recently relocated back to Melbourne.
I did.
Yes. And I don't know about you guys, but I get a lot of people that message me about our podcast, and our episode on repatriation planning is like literally the number one thing that everyone wants to hear about.
Yep.
So we get to have a live actual example of it.
It's 3 months since,
Yes.
Since the big move.
Yes.
And
Get to see if you followed your own advice.
yeah, look at
So as I say, not as I do.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
exactly. All very relevant. Really nice to be back in Singapore, I must admit. It's thing I like about it is it's exactly how I left it, which is
Yes.
really nice. Exactly, everything's still running. It's the Singapore team is still here. They're happy to see me. It's
That's
nice
good.
nice to be back. So
I
yeah,
haven't written you off.
haven't written me off. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still get your coffees in the morning.
I do. The coffee guy was very excited to see me, and
Yeah.
as was my favourite uncle that I always get my vegetarian, economy rice from.
Yep.
He was, the auntie said something to me in Mandarin. I didn't understand it, but I was like, good to see you too. Yeah, it's good. It's good. So yeah, it's nice to be back.
Yeah. Things you don't get in Melbourne.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah.
I thought we could kind of break it down into different sections today, but it'd kind of be good to hear. I'm sure there's a lot of things that you've had to go through in the last few months, but number one kind of way that you would summarize the move. Well, I guess number one, why did you move back?
Yeah.
What was the
Look, it
motivation?
was family. So like, I think and to be honest with all my clients that move back, it's normally family related. So mine was to do with health of my mother-in-law. So, we went to go and spend some more time with her. A few things escalated as they normally do with a lot of my clients. And we just said, okay, it's, and the stars aligned. So we, luckily our house, which you helped me buy a few years ago, Tim, was in between tenants. So, there's no better time when that happens to say, okay, in between tenants, the schools could take my kids as well, which was good. So we
it all kind of lined up.
Yeah, it lined up. So we're sort of, that from that point of view, for my business, I've still got the Singapore office and we've got a Melbourne office. So I was able to just effectively move desks, which is quite good. And my wife was able to continue working the way she does, which is good. So from that point of view, very lucky. Like I know other clients, sometimes I've got to go and things don't line up that nicely, and they obviously go through a bit of pain before things stabilize. So
Yeah. So Tristan, like obviously there's planning and things like that you do, and you don't know how long it'd be till you move back. It could be a year, it could be 2 years. Obviously for you would have had those plans in place. How long away from when you left did you decide, okay, today, me and your wife, you're going to have a discussion about when we're going, and you made a decision, we're going, all the stars are aligning. How far was that between making a decision and going?
No, really good. So, for us, the timeline was a lot shorter because it was, more of a kind of a rush decision to make. But ideally with clients, if you could do it 6 to 12 months ahead of time, that's perfect, because you can, there's things that need to be done, entities that need to be set up. Cash flow planning is a big one, and being an accountant, I love a good family cash flow. So we had a sort of a rolling family cash flow. So looking at things like exit tax, which is a big one in Singapore, because we're lucky enough to be in such a low tax jurisdiction where any tax bill goes on gyro.
Yes,
that's really easy. But so in our situation, I had an idea of the sort of exit tax would be out for especially because my wife has employee share scheme shares, so RSUs,
Yes.
which is for those that aren't aware, as you leave Singapore has one last bite of the cherry of any unvested RSUs,
Yes.
and they so even though you may not be able to vest them, you get to pay tax on them, which can be a bit of a shock for some people.
Yes. That's the one that always catches people out.
Yeah, it does. It's a big one. So we had an idea of it. So when the time came, we could actually plan for that. But things like I was helping a client the other day with their exit cash flow 6 months in advance. But we're looking at the RSUs. We're looking at the timing of the exit as well for them. So you've got existing gyro arrangements that need to be brought to account. You might have the year-to-date earnings as well. So for this client, they'll be going in November. So they've got sort of the previous year's gyro, which is probably partway through. It's it may be a few months in.
Yes.
And then they've got nearly 12 months more of
Tax obligations.
Yeah, tax obligations plus any RSUs they're taking with them as well that are unvested. So there's a bit of a hit. So this client, and then when you announce that you're going, your employer then withholds 2 months of your pay.
Yes. Sometimes 3, depending on how on the ball their HR department is.
Exactly. Yeah. And then so suddenly you're like, oh, I've got all this tax coming up, and then I've got no cash to pay for it all. So it's a that's the that's a big consideration. I have been aware that some of the FANGs will give you, sort of short-term loans for these RSUs, but it's not for everyone. As in they don't do it for everyone, but it is something just to be aware. So if
that's only if you're getting transferred with them. If you're leaving the company, then it makes
correct.
sense. Obviously, they're not going to give you a loan for that. But
Exactly.
only if you're getting transferred.
Yeah, well said. With the company, but that's something some people can benefit from is getting that short-term loan.
Yep.
But yeah,
it's a good segue into, I guess, like finance, right? So we've talked a lot about the exit tax, but being the diligent tax accountant that you are, what were some of the things you were thinking about and planning for when you went back to Australia?
Yeah, so setting up an entity. So we did set up a family trust. So we've obviously got that sort of lined up and ready just for some a few other investments we'll bring you back. So it was getting that ready to go. The reason why we couldn't set up before is you need an Australian director on your corporate trustee at all times.
Yes.
Other clients get around this by using family members and that sort of thing. But a lot of the time you just need the family trust to, effectively pop up once you're in Australia. So it was getting that paperwork lined up, and then once we were in Australia, pushing the button to form that and transfer the shares over. So that was something. Other finance related things. So superannuation comes back online. So that's something, Mr. Bergman, I guess you might want to talk about. But for me, I'm just an employee of my company in Australia, so I'm getting a salary, wage, and super. But I guess question for you, Jamie, what sort of things should you think about if you're dusting off a superannuation account in Australia and starting to put
but there's
12% back?
there's a few things. Obviously, there's the getting it back and putting your SG contributions into a fund, consolidating if you haven't done that previously. Is a big one. So you're not paying ridiculous amounts of fees across 5 accounts.
Yep.
And the big
one.
So
when you say SG, so you might have clients that have like pension funds or SRS funds or other schemes.
SG superannuation guarantee. So that's basically your employer contribution. So when you go back, Australian employees are entitled to 12% of their salary going into super at any point in time. So that's like, they call that superannuation guarantee. You can do things like move.
That whole SG acronym is like...
It is. There's lots of them. Singapore, it's this, it's that.
Exactly.
The big one that people can benefit from for having balances under $500,000 in super, which is probably a lot of people offshore because they might not have topped it up when they're offshore.
Yep.
You can use this carryover or bring forward method where essentially you've got your last 5 years that you could bundle into super at one go if you wanted to. So it's just weighing up the options of, for you, Tristan, you probably won't be able to touch super for another 20 years. So is it worthwhile doing that? Something
and that's saying so you haven't contributed for 5 years. So if you wanted to in this next year, you could use your 5 years worth of contributions and put it all in one go. And the benefit would be you're putting it into obviously super, but you get a tax deduction.
Tax deduction against your income.
Yeah.
There's caps. So at the moment, the cap's about to go up to 32.5 for that year. But essentially the last 5 years, you're looking around $150,000 that you can put in. If you're on 300,000, essentially your assessable income will then go down to 150. You get taxed on 150. The 150 that goes into super, you won't get taxed with that personally. You'll pay contributions tax in super, but it's potentially a big saving for high income earners on that side. But the big caveat is you have to have a balance of less than 500,000 in a super.
Oh, okay. So you really wouldn't have been contributing much before.
Yeah. So people have been overseas for a while, or and also people in their 50s, because they're getting closer to being able to access it. So that super strategy makes a big benefit.
Okay. Interesting.
And another thing on the superannuation front is, I guess, timing. If you're looking at opening up a self-managed super fund, just be aware it's a slow process as well. So it's something I'm not doing for myself, but I'm aware with clients that it does take quite some time to set up the entities, apply for the appropriate registrations, and then you're even further after those registrations come through. You're waiting further for ATO to give you. Other, kind of internally, they kind of give you a stamp of approval. Apart from ABN can take some time, and then your rollover of your super can also take some time. So for those that are looking at
2 to 3 months
super funds,
is pretty normal, I think.
It takes time. So that it's more one of those things that just be careful with that.
Other things that take time. You mentioned Medicare before.
So look, Medicare was one of those things I thought myself, this is going to be a quick tick off. So
fill
I
out
think
the form,
right?
Yeah.
Fill out the form. So myself, the wife, and the kids, we all headed down to Services Australia, which is the new branded term for Centrelink. So headed down there. Walked in the door, greeted with hostile, cranky staff. I was like, oh yes, nothing's changed here. And then it was pretty sort of needed to print off some documents. We had to reline up because they didn't want to hold our position. And to apply for Medicare, it was quite a clunky process. And then they lost all their paperwork and had to do it again, lost it again, and eventually got it in. So it took about a month to get.
Conspiracy theorists would say they're just testing you, Tristan. Just
potentially.
Really,
welcome back.
You're really eligible. Yeah.
So that was our experience. I've heard of other people that have had longer times and other people had shorter times. But it was so just beware, Medicare does take a while. And you normally need an active Medicare number, I think, to activate your private health insurance if it's not already activated. So it's something, because we were starting a new policy, that had to wait as well. So it was a bit of a carryover process. A nice thing which was nice to do is to contact the bank, a nice home loan that you set us up with, Tim, and get the rates adjusted to a principal place of residence rates, which is good. So we've done that, and also and then all the usual residency type things. So when I've been talking to tax lawyers about returning to Australia, they've always said to me, make a big splash when you're back. So, enroll to vote, update all your addresses, join some clubs, just make sure everything points,
make it very clear.
Yeah, make it very clear, exactly. Update your address with your driver's license and that sort of thing, just so you've got this clear kind of like, here's my start date from, and with residency, it starts from a date. It's not like the whole year. So
it's
an easy sort of process from there. So that's good for us. We were lucky. We got in before the land tax date as well, which was unplanned, but it was a nice little. I was aware of
which
it.
Which is the end of the year, right?
End of the year for Victoria. Yeah. Victoria and New South Wales. It's 31 December.
Yes.
And land tax basically simply works. It's basically, are you living in the house on that day? Yes or no? There's no kind of grey area in there, unfortunately. So, we got in there before 31 December. So we're able to avoid another 12 months with land tax.
Yes.
For those that arrive on the 10th of January, sadly.
You've had to pay the whole year.
Pay for the trip to Thailand and then also pay the land tax.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, oh, damn. So, and, other land tax states to be aware of, 30 June is Queensland. I think 30 June is also WA, I think, potentially. Anyway, the main thing is land tax states are different in different states. So just make sure if you're moving back, you know what that date is.
Yes, it's up to you.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. We can look it up, make sure we get it right.
On the lifestyle side, do you want to just give us a little bit of an update on things you're
Yes.
enjoying, maybe things that you're missing, things that you maybe wouldn't do again? Like,
So
Tristan doesn't do things in halves, by the
No.
way. So I think within the first week, he bought the family a dog and a cat.
yes,
So maybe just go through some of those life examples.
Slight correction. The dog was waiting for us. So the dog had arrived a month earlier. So dog was with the grandies, and within 2 days I got a cat. So it was because it was 10 years away. Talking to the kids, saying, "Hey, we're going to get back.
Yeah.
We get a dog and a cat. Everything's going to be great." But yeah, chaos, absolutely madness. So
Just throw yourself in the deep end.
yeah, got a psychopath cat that wants to attack the dog all the time.
Lovely.
Dog wants to eat my son as well. So it's, we're just sort of, we're managing animals, so and baby animals as well. So it's just one of those things to, I would caution those that are looking to get pets when they get back, just hold off for a bit, wait for the dust to settle, then get one at a time.
Look, it's a big move, right? Because you were here 10 years and it's 10 years of, having the kids growing up, they've grown up, but also having a level of help over that time as well, right? And all of a sudden, after 10 years, you have to go back and you got to clean your own house again. You got to cook your own food again. There's no one to watch the kids if you go out.
Definitely first world problems, but I think when
it's an adjustment.
I've been justifying to myself, thinking, okay, I was used to help. And you sort of adjust your life to having help. So both me and my wife, we'd work longer hours, we'd take on more things. I was, luckily I could take on some, some voluntary roles and all that sort of thing that you do in your spare time, hang out with you guys, do podcasts, that sort of thing. And for those listening in, or I guess you're not going to see it on the video either, but my kids are just sitting upstairs in your office at the moment. So this is Aussie life is bring your kids with you, basically. So yeah, that was, so no help was a big thing. So on the lifestyle, it took us a while to actually get our act together and just go, okay, we need to actually get help. We need to do it. So we finally got a house cleaner. That's amazing. So that's, once a week they come clean the house. It was resulting in divorce day on Saturday, which was just, like wake up in the morning and just one of us hits the bathrooms, the floors, and the other one hits the supermarket and, admin, all that sort of thing. And at the end of the day, we come back and collapse. Got an ironing lady as well. That's great.
Okay, that's
amazing. So ironing and cleaning, great. And the meal plans is a new thing that's popped up since I was in Australia last. So, 10 years ago, there was obviously, I think there was Light and Easy, I think was the big one that was going back then, and since then, all these great meal plans have popped up where, you get the box and they've they've put all the right things in the meal, like the right sauce packets and spices and veggies that need to be chopped up, and a great little glossy recipe card to go. So that's been a godsend because you just get the box and it magically appears between midnight and 7 a.m. on my doorstep on Monday morning, which is great. Wake up in the morning, there's a box, and so that's been really good. But it's for those Aussies, they just they kind of seem to get organized. So you kind of got all these things. You got your routine. And also the maintenance of having a big house. That's the good old lawn, which I think most people are aware of. They're like, I get to mow the lawn, but if you got a pool in there, you got to clean the pool, got to deal with the
good for the first month. You feel liberated, and then it starts becoming a chore.
Yes, exactly. So testing the water temperature, fixing the pump when it stops working, all that sort of stuff. So that's all to be taken into consideration
when you start to just get a lot of I've got you got a lot of guys hanging around. I've got my pool guy, I've got my garden guy.
Yeah, good garden guy.
Ironing people on speed dial.
Exactly. Yeah.
Other benefits, one of the things I can't wait to go back is to have a car, some freedom to be able to just jump in the car, go to the shops, go down to the park and things like that. So have you got yourself a car?
We do actually. Yeah, I got the car. So
Did it feel like a novelty after such a long time?
Like a novelty. Like it's in Australia, there's a lot of people picking up the old electric cars because the fringe benefits tax benefits are there in the sense that their fringe benefits are tax free if you salary sacrifice them. So that's a bit exciting. So effectively. Getting a car paid for from pre-tax income is pretty good. So
right up your alley. That's
right up my alley. It's a good one. So that's a bit exciting. That sort of thing. And you've got the other kind of things you can consider on the home front is, getting solar panels on your roof and getting batteries, so you can kind of store the and that seems to be a big thing at the moment. And so
Is there still those rebates and stuff back home?
there is some, I think that but I think
as big as they were, but
yeah. But I think where it's at is, from what I'm hearing, is getting the batteries and store your own power. I think that's where you can really benefit, rather than, I think when you sell it back to the grid, you get pretty rubbish rates kind of thing.
Okay.
So that's
Good tip.
What about the cost of living? Obviously,
so cost of living, interesting.
Stuff's happened in the Middle East. There's the petrol piece.
Petrol prices, I was busily watching that go up. So I did see, I'm driving a diesel Audi, and I sort of saw prices of diesel, go from $2.40 to $3.20, which is a pretty big jump when you're like, okay, this is pretty big. And it's got up to $3.30 and it's now at $3.05. I think it's all, talking to a taxi driver on the way over here, I think it's been doing the same thing in Singapore too. It's been bouncing around. So that's kind of a big thing for cost of living. Like, I feel groceries and I think it's similar. Like, cost of living of groceries in Singapore is similar to Australia, which a lot of people are telling me as well. So I was now I'm experiencing. I haven't really made any savings on the Aussie front.
No,
you obviously get access to that great Aussie produce. So there's wine's cheaper. I'm happy about that.
Yeah,
very happy about that. That's
it helps with the extra cleaning.
Exactly. Yeah. And look, and a strange noticeable difference is, I don't think people are drinking as much in Australia as they used to.
I've noticed this on all my trips back.
Yeah, exactly.
Well.
I enjoy a drink, I must admit, but it's one of those things that I in the office, it's rare that people in the Melbourne office want to come out for a drink. Most of going home to their personal trainers. So
gym memberships probably cheaper down.
Yeah. Yep. Agreed.
Then.
But here, definitely.
Yeah. So definitely health and fitness is a big piece. But happy to say the coffee culture is still alive and well in Melbourne.
Is it?
Yeah.
Good.
Yes, exactly.
I've got a question for you.
Yep.
So, and this is something, because I have my business in Melbourne and I get to go back once a month as well. Yeah. But a lot of the rhetoric that I get from people up here is all about Melbourne, gangland, underworld, the place is falling apart, it's crime riddled, everyone's homeless, you're going to get stabbed in the street. How is your experience living there?
Yeah, look, it's
have you been stabbed yet?
I haven't been stabbed in the street. haven't been, no one's pillaged me or anything like that. It's been fairly normal. I feel safe walking around in the streets, to be honest. Like, Melbourne City the CBD feels a bit wild on a Saturday night.
But to be fair, it's always felt like that.
Yeah, it's always a bit wild. Yeah, exactly. So CBD is still very much happening. I was there, the previous Saturday night ago, comedy festival's on, so the city had a really nice big buzz to it.
Yeah.
There's still an eclectic group of people hanging around the city, you could call it. But it felt, it felt very much normal. So, it was still a really nice place to be. Nice to see people down there and that sort of thing. So still very much go Melbourne.
Yeah. How's it been for your kids going back?
Kids have been all right. Like,
because they've pretty much been raised here.
They have, I've got two kids. So Nina's 12 and Miles is 8. And they've both gone into private schools in Melbourne, which has been nice. Like, in a sense, different schooling systems. So there's been a bit of an adjustment. So I guess that's something for people to caution them about. If you're going from the IB program, which is common in Singapore with international schools, to the Aussie program, there might be some adjustments going on. So that's just something to be aware of. Starting getting friends, I think, is tough for kids. So that's an adjustment process. To be honest, I haven't really connected with too many of my old friends yet because I'm stuck in domestic bliss at the moment, but slowly getting better. So it's a from a school point of view, there's still great before and after school care programs, which I've been relying on quite a lot for the kids. So that's if you are going back, make sure you reach out to your local primary school and just find out what they've got going on. There's a great one at my local primary school where you can drop the kids off from 7 a.m, which I don't do, but you can do that, and they can hang on to the kids until 6 p.m. at night time, after school if need be. So there's kind of that flexibility. Buffer. Yeah, there's a buffer there, which is good. So, yes, we miss our helper. She was amazing. She used to keep the family together and that sort of thing. But you kind of make do,
Yeah.
and that sort of thing.
Grandparents close to help out. Like
Grannies are
obviously
close,
that's-
Grannies are close. Public transport's free in Melbourne as well for kids. That's
okay.
that's a new thing.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's good. So Nina brings herself home from school.
Mhm.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that sort of thing. So from that point, that's okay. But I guess it's more for those that haven't repatriated and are thinking about it in the future. I think it's more just just give yourself some adjustment time. I think
Definitely.
Yeah.
Do you think you're fully adjusted, or there's still some to go? It's been 3 months, right? So it's like I've heard through clients who've moved back, it's like 6 to 12 month process. And
It's like moving any city, right? I think it
Yeah.
takes you a good 12 months to really feel settled in anyway.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, that's
even if it's supposed to be home, but it hasn't been home for a long time.
Have you gentlemen lived in other cities apart from Singapore?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brisbane, Melbourne, Perth, and Singapore.
Singapore.
So I've done the move.
I'd be very interested. I guess we've had other expats on here that have been in other expat locations, right?
Yes.
That would be a big adjustment. Get used to Singapore, then you move
Yes.
to Hong Kong, then you move to Dubai, then you move to wherever. So I can understand that would be a eternal process of adjustment, basically.
I think it's that. I think even as a long-term expat here, right? If I think about my first few years of living here, every 12 months I would have a new friendship group or a new bunch of people because it was like very transient. I feel like it's gotten a lot more like that in the last 12 months here. There's a lot more. Everyone's leaving me this year.
Sorry,
actually.
mate. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. I think you hold on to the ones that came around the same time as you as well, because you're experiencing that for the first time. Like, I've never been on the Botanical Gardens walk, or I've never been to Sentosa. So you just like connect with those people who experience those things together. So I think for me, it was those connections that I had at the very start that kind of went the whole way through. And yes, you've got some people that come or go from that kind of core group, but that core group is still kind of intact a little bit.
Yeah, like I think I'd agree with that. The sort of and the longer you stay here, the more you can kind of connect with the more longer term expats that are always here. So I have caught up with a few buddies since I've been up here who are probably going to be here for a long time since, which is good. So the old
It's hard to escape.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you would change from the actually experiencing the repatriation, or the boomerang, as some people call it, Aussies being boomerangs and going back home? But in terms of what you told people before you experience it yourself versus now what you would tell people?
Yeah, like I think the taking on too much on the family front's a big piece, because you need to be realistic, and I need to I had to keep running a tax practice through the whole time, so that was staying connected and being able to manage that. I was very lucky that we had an office in Melbourne. I've got some supportive directors. I've got really nice clients, all that sort of thing. So that kind of helps through the process. But yeah, I think you need to recognize that you've had this life in Singapore that's or Hong Kong, if you're listening there, where it's you're probably doing a lot more than you could, because the city and your work life and everything and family life is all set up to do that.
Yes.
Just recognize that that's going to be a big gap. It's not going to, it's so like, make a plan to get more help in, wherever you're going, just so you're not, and don't get a cat and the dogs. But yeah, don't get that. They're wonderful. They're wonderful.
A puppy as well, like puppy and a
Yeah,
kitten, like the
puppy and a
actual
kitten.
babies.
Yeah, no, baby, don't do that. Yeah, anyway,
very hectic
most people
already.
be like, of course, I'm not going to do that. But
Yeah.
it's those sort of decisions. Yeah, and also things like living in your house without furniture for a period of time. So that was a big momentous time that for the first month we're living on air mattresses and progressively buying furniture, and then suddenly the shipping container arrives and the house gets set up. That's kind of bit of fun camping in the house, but it's you kind of put it behind you pretty quickly. But just to note that you can be adjusting to a new city, and also your life's going to be a bit of a mess because you've only got some of your stuff there too.
Yes. Yeah. think be kind to yourself, right? Just realize it's going to take time.
Yeah.
It's not all going to just, you're just going to be one here one day and be here the next day.
Exactly.
It's going to be.
Yeah. And you know, plan as much as you can. Like I obviously feel for some of those expats that, you know, some had to move back, you know, during COVID. Some are, you know, displaced at the moment who are in Dubai. Like, you know, they're sort of, you know, the stuff's up there and they're down in Australia. So, you know, feel for all those guys. We you know, had a bit of planning time. So, and I love good cash flow, so I always had that in the back. So it's, yeah. My wife also likes it as well. So, you know, it's a, so yeah, you know, if you can pull yourself around to like having a quick look at the family cash flow and the what if scenario, highly recommend it. You know, just so you got, you know, what if we had to leave in the next 2 months? What's the tax impact? How much cash would we need to move back? You know, is our employer going to pay for the cost of the shipping container or not? You know, all those additional costs of setting up. Do we need to get a car when they're down in Australia? What new furniture do we need? You know, most of us will.
Lots of things people don't think about. You know, this is part of the conversations Jamie has as well too. Like it's, and especially if you're in a job where, you know, that's happened to many people, right? They announce the layoff that week and you don't get much notice.
Exactly.
You know?
Especially on employment passes in Singapore, you've got 30 days essentially to pack up your things, which is very, very difficult. But yeah, some people like, I always estimate around 200,000 to move back, and people balk at that. They're just like, I don't need that. But then they're like, okay, well, your family might need 1 or 2 cars. You've got to pay the exit tax. Again, depending on the income, that could be 100 or 200,000. So
what if you didn't have a job straight away?
Yeah, no job straight away. There's
white goods,
getting back,
soft furnishing this getting back.
Shipping
getting used to when you get that
again.
first pay slip and you have all this money that's taken out.
We had a funny story. My son, someone said to him, "What are you looking forward to? You know, first thing you get back to Australia?" And he says the first class, and they thought, they're like, "Oh, what a good studious kid. He wants to go to school." He's like, no, on the airline. And we forgot that we told him. We're like, oh yes, you know, the flight's back. We'll get business class tickets and go in the lounge. It'll be a lovely experience. Anyway, reality, we were on Scoot. You know, Scoot. Yeah, we weren't even on Scoot Biz. It was a Scoot normal, and it was just
paid for a lounge just to get the lounge.
We didn't even get the lounge, so it was just survived the airport. I think we had 13 bags or something like that. We had to check in. Like it was the night before. Me and the wife were, you know, weighing the luggage, and we had to dump a heap of stuff. You know, we're saying at Swiss Hotel, had to dump a heap of stuff there in the last night. So like, we're gonna be over luggage, and we bought as much luggage allowance as we could. So and you know, above and beyond the luggage allowance they let you buy, it's completely up to the airline whether they're going to let you on or not. So I think we had something like 130 kilos of carry-on or something like that. Wow. So yeah, it was a decent chunk. And it was up to 140, so we had to drop. We basically had to leave 10 kilos of stuff at Swiss Hotel before we left. But you know, anyway, so there was no first class experience. It was Scoot, and it got us there, and it ran on time. It's fine. You know, it's only 8 hours. It's all right.
Yeah, I've done that flight before.
Yeah.
If you so if you had to think about like the 2 or the 3 things that you could do again or be better prepared for, was there anything that kind of stands out?
I think I'd 2 or 3 things. So get help in Australia as soon as I could. So just recognize that, you know, you know, go easy on yourself, of course, as you said. So get help, go easy, and you know, probably even just have, you know, make sure, you know, you've got some plans for things like date night and that sort of thing. I think that's important.
You've got to prioritize.
So yeah, you got to prioritize a bit of thing, because I think you can, and even like, you know, the personal stuff. So probably date night / health and fitness sort of thing. So just make sure you're being kind to yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just that one.
Yeah, and look, and you know, obviously, you know, plan as much in advance as you can, because the cash flow part can be stressful if you're not planning for it. So make sure you're planning for the exit tax, planning for having cash in the bank, for all the setup costs and all that sort of thing, and just plan as much as you can.
Yep. And then, what would you say is the best thing about going back?
Best thing, yeah. Look, it's probably being close to family, right? That's the simple thing. It's the you obviously miss family up here. Singapore's exciting, great for career. It's a great city, great food, great people, that sort of thing. But at the end of the day, it's kind of the family piece, I think. So that's been really nice to get back, spend some time with my parents-in-law,
Yep.
spend some time with my old man, catch up with my brother and my stepsister and all that sort of thing. So that's been really nice, actually. So
It's one of those weird things that gets more important as you get older, I think,
Yeah.
and you just start to think about it more and more.
Appreciate
as well.
it well. Yeah. And one of those things where you can kind of see their finite time to make sure that you're there, which can be challenging, especially for people overseas. You're kind of out of sight, out of mind in a sense from that way.
Yeah. Especially if you've got young kids and they don't get to meet their cousins or anything like that. It's,
exactly. Exactly. It's so that's been a big one.
Being an ex-baker, have you found yourself a local baker? Have we had the meat pies, the sausage rolls yet? Like you're looking pretty trim. It doesn't look like you found one yet.
There is a lot of good bread and pastry options in Melbourne.
Yeah.
It's been spoilt for choice. So, like for those Melbourneites, there's this new bakery that's popped up called Baker Blue, which I just think is just the best thing ever. So,
Is that a chain or is it?
It's got a few chains. So there is a line up to get in the door most days.
Okay.
It's that good, but they just have phenomenal bread.
Mhm.
And there's a heap of really good boulangeries in the area as well. So I'm still my favorite one, the Canelli. I don't know if those guys that know that, but it's like this delicious little circular. I don't know. It's like, it feels like it's pancake batter, but it's got like a nice sticky.
Our producer Bolin is nodding. saying yes,
He's
he loves
nodding. He
Canelli.
knows the Canelli. A good Canelli, hot and sticky and warm in the middle. It's just glorious. I found some phenomenal Canelli bakers.
Love it.
Some wonderful almond croissants as well. Oh yeah, nice. Thanks. Yeah, they're so good. So like there's and look, I've been hitting the farmers markets as well. Actually, that's there's plenty of those in Melbourne. So
Yes.
good thing to get the fresh fruit and the meats and these eggs.
locals.
Yeah, it's what the locals. Yeah, that sort of thing. So that's the food scene's great in Melbourne. So
It
that-
is,
that's, it's
It's one of the best in the world, for sure.
great food scene. Like obviously the food scene in Singapore is phenomenal. All things Asian and that sort of thing, absolutely amazing. But I had forgotten about the diverse food scene in Melbourne. It was pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're looking well, mate. You haven't eaten enough by the looks
Thank you,
of it.
mate. No, I'm making
Look
up
forward to
for
have one or two more.
Exactly. Have one for us.
Thanks very much, Tristan, for sharing with us. It's been I know it's been a whirlwind for you, so I'm just really happy that we're able to catch up again.
It's nice
after
to
a few
catch up.
months and
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Get the download. There's some really helpful tips in there as well.
I'll
especially on the finance side.
thank you. And I'll be up monthly, so I'll hope to do a few more podcasts with you gentlemen in the future.
Yes, I'm excited. We got some
other guests.
good episodes coming up. I hope in the next few months.
Yeah.
Just putting it all together in our brand new studio.
In the fancy new studio.
As
It's
well.
great. Yeah, Bolin set it up well. Sounds good.
Yes.
Yeah, love it.
If anyone's in Singapore and wants to come by, we've got a new office for Aussie Expat Home Loans now down in Tiongbury. Welcome anytime.
Very good. And also, if any listeners want to come on and share their story, more than happy to look at that as well. So reach out and send us a DM.
Cool. Thank you, gents.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.